Hi you guys, I'm Leanne and I'll be your instructor for your lesson today. We're really excited about today's lesson and we think you're going to love it. As always, make sure that you guys are working on the mat that's provided in the box when you're working on your table. Make sure that you put your name on your project legibly, because there's going to be a lot of you guys coming in and bringing stuff to us, so we want to make sure that we know whose is whose. And lastly, make sure that you clean up really well after each lesson. A bucket of water and a sponge and just a quick wipe down the mat should be all you need. All right, we're excited. Let's get started. All right, today's lesson is on these animals is what we're going to be making today. Right here. So your materials are your template for your paper clone, your slip, your fork, your cutting tool, a paintbrush, and a sponge. Okay, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut the paper template out from the paper. So you guys, scissors are one of the things that are not included in the kit. I think it's the only thing that's not included. So just grab a scissor from the house. So we just want to cut around here. And just for time, I already have one that's cut off. It's the magic of movies. Now I'm going to take the slab of clay that was in the box and placing it on my mat. Remember, always be working on your mat. I'm going to place the paper template over. Using my cutting tool, I'm going to come around and I'm going to cut around my template. And just remember, this is a knife edge that cuts right there, so we're just kind of moving through there and using that sharp edge as our edge as we're moving through to cut around our form. When you get done, you can gently just kind of peel this clay away and just lay it to the side. Okay. So with this cone form, what we're going to be doing is when we take this and we overlap these sides right here, it makes the body for our form. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing with our clay. So whenever you put two pieces of clay together, and this is one of our terms, we're going to score, which just means we'll rough up the surface area with our fork. Now you guys, don't go too deep where you're really digging in. We just kind of want a little bit of pressure, so you're just kind of roughing that up. Then we're going to take our slip, which is in our container here, and with our paintbrush, apply a good amount to where we just scored. Now gently picking up our clay from our mat, we're going to fold this over and we're going to press this under part in right here. So I'm just pressing onto it, pressing on, and pressing where that overlap is. I'm supporting my hand on the inside here and applying pressure. Just pressing this down. If you guys start to get some of these little wrinkles and stuff like that, just kind of ignore them. We're going to address those in a second. So I'm going to come here. If you've got this little extra tail, you can always just cut this off. We're going to get a nice cone form. Now, I'm going to take the time to smooth out this seam so we don't know where anything's kind of coming from. That way we can't tell the front from the back or where we put this cone together. So I'm just using my fingers, just taking the time to smooth everything out. This is where if these cracks kind of came exposed when you pulled this over, this is where we can just kind of move through here. And with my hand supporting on the bottom here, I can take and I can just smooth those out by gently applying pressure with my finger to smooth them. Okay, so when we get done, we kind of have a cone-shaped form for our bottom of the body. Now we're going to start building our animal. Now this is up to you guys. You guys could take a piece of paper and sketch out some ideas if you'd like, Or you can kind of sculpt some ideas with the clay that you have on hand, just to do a little bit of maquettes to kind of get some ideas. But some ones that we came up with is we did a unicorn for our example. We have a hedgehog right here, texturized with the body, and then they just kind of focused on the head around here. Some chickens that we've done in the past, and this is a finished product just for you guys to kind of take a look at. So you guys kind of decide what animal you would like to focus on. For our animal, we're gonna take here and I'm gonna grab a piece of my scrap clay and I wanna roll it into our fingers and roll it between my palms, and the more that I roll it, the rounder it's gonna get. So I can still not quite too round yet, but if I keep working on it, just applying pressure and a little bit of patience, we're going to get a nice round form. There, so we want it about the size of a gumball. Why we don't want to make it any bigger than that is it has the potential to be too heavy for our form, or also it won't make it through the kiln because it'll break. So we want to make it sure that we keep it right around gumball size form. Now decide kind of what animal you want. We're going to go with maybe a donkey today. So we're pushing out, and what I'm doing is I'm just gently kind of pushing with my fingers here to start making our forms. So you can see we got kind of the snout there, or the mouth, I guess it's not called a snout. We're kind of moving in. I'm going to attach my head, and to attach it, remember you always score and slip. So I'm going to score the top of this, I'm going to score the bottom here, I'm going to slip, adding a good amount of texture, or a good amount of slip to here. I'm going to kind of shake and wiggle this on. And we've got there. Now I'm going to start adding my features. So we said let's make a donkey. So I'm going to take here and I'm going to, just between my fingers with a little bit of clay, I'm just pinching and pinching, because donkeys have some rather large ears. So I'm going to make my donkey's ears pretty good size there. Again, when you add 2 pieces of clay, I'm going to score and score and slip. Coming from the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to kind of try to match that donkey's ears. Both have the same size, but if it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. Come here, I'm going to score, I'm going to slip, and attach. I'm going to kind of fold his ears over because I think one up and one down. Now we're going to add eyes. Now there's 2 ways that you guys can do eyes. You can use the edge of your paintbrush if you'd like. You can kind of move in here and adding eyes that way. Or you can also add an eye that has more of a 3D look, where you come in and you'd score and you'd score. Same thing that I did before, where I just kind of rounded those little balls out, just how I made the head. I'd slip, and I'd slip, and I'd add my donkey eye on. So I'm going to do a 3D one on this one, because I'm going to make my donkey have some crazy eyes. There. Okay. I'm going to need a couple nostrils, so I'm going to come here. Using the edge of my paintbrush, I'll just kind of pull that in. And donkeys usually have some pretty good sized teeth, so I think I'm even going to add teeth. I'm going to need a pupil in the center of my eye, so I'm coming here and here. Okay, and now I'm going to add just some teeth. The longer you guys work on this and add kind of details, the more realistic it's going to look, or the more like the animal. I wouldn't call these realistic, but the more like the animal we're going to look today. So I just kind of put 2 pieces of clay together and added those teeth, and I'm going to put some teeth right on the outside here. I'm going to score and slip, and then I'll come back in and work on these teeth too. Score, I'm going to slip, come here. Let's give them some pretty good big old teeth, huh? I'm going to put a little space in between them because it looks like a tongue right now, which it could be a tongue. We could switch this to a dog even. There's our donkey coming. I'm gonna add a mane on it. We'll come and we'll score. I'm gonna slip. And I'm just using a coil, which I just rolled out. Just using my hands and rolling out onto the mat. I can add just kind of a little mane so we can give him a little mohawk if we want to. There we go. And remember, I scored and slipped all the way down. I'm going to change his pupils in like that too. There we go. Okay, and then I'm also going to add a tail. So I just rolled coils out, and I rolled coils out. I rolled a couple coils out, and then I twisted them together for my tail. Same thing, I'm just going to tap this edge. I'm going to score on the back here. And I'm going to slip, come in, and I'm going to add my tail onto here. So we're starting to get our donkey. There we go. And I can come back in and just kind of work on these teeth at a later date too, just to make sure that we get those in. And that's it. Those are our animals. So you guys, you have a variety of choices. Our crazy donkey that we made today. We have a unicorn, hedgehog, there's a chicken. I think a frog would be successful with this. Cows, you could do a cat, you could do a dog, you could do a bird. Just look around your house, look around your yard and see, maybe you have a cat and you want to do a portrait of that. Maybe you have a dog and you want to do a portrait of that. When you get done, please clean up your mess. Follow the instruction video for cleaning up and how to return back to the studio. Thank you.